Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge. Whenever you're ready to start, we'll start in courtroom 2 with position 2. Ms. Hooton,
Position 2.
that's correct, Ms. Hooton.
Oh, Hooton, yes. All right, I'll do my opening and we'll get started. Let me. All right, good afternoon, everyone. I am Judge Regina Mincy, and this is the State Court of Fulton County's Expedited Accusations calendar. This is a calendar for cases in which individuals have recently been arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's office has already accused these cases of the offenses brought against them, and the case has been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will usually be the defendant's initial appearance before state court judge, so we are able to address matters including bond, possible arraignment, and consideration of a possible plea offer if one has been made by the state at this juncture. I want to begin by reminding everyone that this entire proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube, so govern yourselves accordingly. I'm going to also remind the defendants on this calendar that you do have a right to representation by an attorney, which most of you already do at this point and know who your attorneys are. You also have a constitutional right to remain silent. Anything that you say about the facts, the circumstances, and the occurrences of your case can and will be used against you. So listen to your attorneys and be careful with making any statements. All right, we're going to begin with position.
Your Honor,
I'm
the
sorry.
reset date for the SAP calendar is going to be September the 22nd.
And I forgot about that. Thank you, Ms. Bridgewater.
You're welcome.
Set date for state all-purpose SAP is September 22nd.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, gotcha. All right, this is case number 22, CR 006069F. Relithia Hooton, you're charged with one count of failure to obey traffic signs and signals and markings, a second count of hit and run, a third count of driving while license is suspended or revoked, all with the offense date of May the 12th, 2022. Pre-trial, good afternoon.
Hey, again, you want to jump on this?
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor. I sent to Mr. Toussaint and Mr. Bridgewater basically an arrest summary. It appears that Ms. Houghton was arrested on May 12th, as is indicated in the pretrial report. She was detained at the Atlanta City Jail, and I forwarded over a report showing that she actually has posted bond for charges hit and run, driving while license suspended, and failure to obey traffic signals. I forwarded a summary of that report that I received from the records department there. So I do believe that I'm not quite sure why she was rearrested. The warrant states the date of the warrant is July 12th, 2022. However, in the warrant, it indicates that she was actually arrested on May 12th, which I was able to confirm with Atlanta City Jail.
Ms. Mitchell, are you aware?
Your Honor, I wasn't aware, but Mr. Toussaint just sent me that, and I just sent it to my supervisor, Ms. Falk. So if we could just have a moment
Okay,
to look at it.
all right. Give us a second, Ms. Gant. I appreciate that important information.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, if you could give me a moment, I'm looking at the ticket information that was just sent to me.
Okay.
Your Honor, I will turn my camera off for a moment, but I am listening to the proceedings.
Okay. No
Thank you.
problem.
Your Honor, this appears to be two separate incidents. And I may be incorrect, but I'm seeing that there was two traffic accidents, one involving a Nissan Altima and, excuse me, a Nissan Altima, and then a different accident involving a Buick Century. They said the two accidents were less than a mile from each other
On the same date or different date?
on the same date.
Oh, on the same date.
Yes, that is correct. And it's so essentially what happened as I'm looking at the warrants is May 12th, there was a hit and run at the intersection of Hamilton Homes and Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway. Mr. Dennis stated he was driving through the intersection in his Buick Century. He was struck by a black Nissan Altima. He was able to give them that continued going down the road without stopping. He was able to give the officers the identical VIN number and the Georgia tag number. And then the officer further goes on to state in the warrant that there was a different hit and run at Hamilton E. Holmes and Joseph E. Boone, where the driver was arrested. The Ultima and the driver matched the description for the hit and run at Hamilton E. Holmes and Donald Lee Hollowell, which involved Mr. Harris, which is less than a mile from each other. He said Officer Akoka, at the time of his crash report, knew the identity of the driver in the vehicle, but did not charge her for this hit and run. So it looks like the officer doubled back, Officer Polk doubled back and did take out warrants on July 12th for the hit and run involving Mr. Harris, which is different than the hit and run for which she was arrested for less than a mile away, involving a different vehicle.
With Mr. Dennis is the victim on that one.
Well, Dennis Harris is the victim on the first hit and run, where she was not arrested, where these warrants were taken out. The second hit and run was the one, it looks like, where citations were taken out and she was arrested.
And who is the other driver or the victim?
It doesn't state in our warrants, it doesn't say who the victim of the second hit and run was.
Oh,
Because it looks like what happened is on the second hit and run, the officer took out citations and the defendant was arrested at the scene. The citations on which she bonded out on, based on this inmate form that I received, she bonded out of the municipal court. It looks like, did these come from municipal court? I'm not sure where they came from, but it looks like she posted bond on those charges.
Your Honor, if we may come back to this case, I would like to really go over the warrants with the fine tooth comb, because that is not the impression that I got. I'm not saying that Ms. Falk is incorrect. However, I would just appreciate a moment to go back over the warrants to confirm.
If it helps, and I don't have a problem with that, but if it helps, you can look at the driving while license suspended warrant. Actually lays it out pretty well. Actually, all the warrants do, but it lays out the kind of how the progression from from point A to point B.
And again, I read those this morning and my impression is different. I would appreciate the opportunity, Your Honor, to just go over things again.
okay. All right. We'll keep moving. Do you have the whole calendar, Ms. Gant?
No, Your Honor, just positions 4, 3, and 5.
Okay. All right, we'll keep moving and come back. Sorry, Deputy, can we hold on this case so we can be
Not a
quick?
problem, Judge. Position 10, Watley.
Your Honor, position 10 and position 8 are cross defendants. You want to do them at the same time?
I can. Deputy, can we? I'll start out with 10, then I'll read 8. Can we
Okay.
have them back to back? All right, we'll start with 10, 22 CR 006073H, Rashida Watley, charged with 1 count of battery. The offense date is September the 8th, 2022.
It's an 8th arrest,
Okay,
2018 probation violation, 2018 shoplifting. She had a 2010 battery ag assault. It was no bill. That's it for her. As far as his history,
on Christopher Spivey.
yeah, he was arrested November 2021, battery DV. It was the same victim. It was non-pros though. Before that was 2006 security interest that was dismissed. 06 theft by conversion dismissed. I defer to you on his bond. As far as the pretrial or whatever. That's it.
He has 3 cycles.
Hmm?
On Mr. Spivey.
This is 4th arrest.
4th.
Watley was the only recommendation for today.
Okay,
So, you know. All right.
thank you. All right, ASG Reed.
Thank you, Your Honor. The date of the offense was September 8th, 2022, which was yesterday. And this happened at defendant Spivey's home, which is 210 Erie Court in Sandy Springs. That's AERIE. The defendant Spivey and defendant Watley, they've been in a relationship for the past 4 years, and currently the parties do not live together and they do not have children together. Defendant Spivey is being accused of striking defendant Watley, and he left a scratch and a bruise on her neck and a small welt over her eye. Defendant Watley is being accused of striking defendant Spivey on his back, causing bruising, as well as a cut above his lip and a scratch on his cheek. As it relates to the bond for position 10, defendant Watley, we are recommending a $3,000 signature bond, a stay away from the incident location, no further contact with defendant Spivey, a one-day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
All right. And then let me.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Hold on one second, Ms. McLeod. I'll call 8 and then we'll go back to the defense. Let me just call 8, 22 CR 006070H, Christopher Spivey, and he's charged with 1 count of battery, offense date 9/8/2022. All right, go ahead, Ms. McLeod.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 38 years old. She has an associate's degree in culinary science. She is a chef and she does catering with pastries. She has been doing this for some time. She is a mother of a 10-year-old. She absolutely denies that there was any physical violence between herself and Mr. Spivey. They had an argument. She is the sole caretaker for her 10-year-old daughter, Your Honor. She would prefer, if any conditions that the court attaches to her bond, be no further violent contact with Mr. Spivey, because she tells me that they have been in a relationship for almost 5 years, and there's no violence between them. She's not in the least bit afraid of him. She has her own place. He has his own place, Your Honor. And she says it was a purely misunderstanding that the police showed up at their home, at his home, on this particular incident. I don't have anything further on that, Your Honor, because I see that the recommendation is a signature bond and we are fine with that. It's just that she would still like to have contact with him.
All right.
And
Go ahead.
well, I was going to say, Your Honor, I mean, the state opposes contact right now because we're going to be asking for a no further contact with defendant Spivey once I do that bond recommendation.
Okay. Hold on one second. Okay. On position 8, this is,
Jake, Your Honor.
okay,
Yes,
all right, let me hear your,
sure, Your Honor. Mr. Christopher
Oh.
Spivey,
hold on one second. I
sure.
cannot ask ASG Reed.
Thank
Judge,
you.
excuse me,
Okay.
Judge, can we just complete position 10 and then I'm gonna bring over position 8 next?
Okay, let me complete position 10 as deputy has requested first. On position 10, I will go ahead and give the $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. Then I order the 1-day anger awareness course. I'm going to order at this time, no further contact with the cross defendant, Christopher Spivey. I'm going to order stay away from the location of 210 Erie Court in Sandy Springs. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right,
Thank you.
and now we'll go to position 8.
This is Mr. Spivey, position 8.
All right, Mr. Spivey, we've already announced you're charged with 1 count of battery. And I've heard the facts through ASG Reed. Is there anything else you'd like to add before I allow Ms. Kim to present?
No, pretty much the same, that there was a
I'm
misunderstanding.
sorry, no, not you,
Oh,
your attorney.
oh.
I'm sorry. You need to defer to your attorney. ASG Reed, is there anything else you'd like to add prosecution wise?
Not, just if you want to hear the bond recommendation on this one, the facts are the same.
Right. What's your recommendation?
The state is requesting a $5,000 surety bond because this is the second arrest for violence with the same victim. The last case, as you heard, was here in Fulton County. That was 21 CR 006306H. In that case, the arrest was October of 2021, which is less than a year ago. Also, in that case, he was accused, the defendant, of grabbing the defendant Watley's head, slamming it against the steering wheel. However, he did receive a no pros on that case this past June 2nd, 2022. So since these instances are so close together and they deal with the same victim, we are asking for the $5,000 surety bond. In terms of the conditions, it would be a stay away from defendant Watley, a 1-day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Thank you.
Yes.
Not a stay away and no further contact.
Well, it wouldn't be a stay away, you need from her house.
All right, is that what you're asking? Because I don't have that address.
No, I didn't ask for stay. I just asked for stay away from her altogether, but I can find her address. It should be an Odyssey.
Well, if he has no further contact
Yeah.
with her, then that should be sufficient. They don't have any children together.
Correct. Thank you.
Okay. All right, PD Kim.
Yes, Mr. Christopher Spivey is 39 years old, and he has been here in Georgia for almost 30 years, Your Honor. He has 4 children, and except 18 years old, 3 other children are minors that he has been supporting, and he has an independent contractor job for the construction. He does home improvement, and he's been doing that for about 10 years. He has a strong ties to the community. The previous case was dismissed, Your Honor, and we would like to request for signature on bond for this. And Your Honor, he claims that Ms. Rashid actually has a little bit of a chronic illness that he is taking. He's kind of accommodating very well. They get along really well, and he would like to have no further violent contact, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, I don't feel there's been enough cooling off period. I hear allegations of some injuries. And so I'm going to order for this case with Mr. Spivey, a $5,000 surety bond. I'm going to order no further contact with cross defendant Rashida Watley. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond, except for anything prescribed to you. And that's all I will order at this point, unless there's anything else council wants me to take up.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing further from the state. Thank you.
All right.
Nothing further, Your Honor, but
All right.
this does conclude my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Oh, happy Friday to you then. Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Go back and have a seat. Position 9, Tucker.
This is case number 22 CR 006067D. William Tucker, you're charged with 6 counts. The first one being DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol less safe. Second charge, driving with the possession of an open alcohol container. Third, possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Fourth, instruction permits, provisional license, and a temporary license. 5, driving, failure to keep in the proper lane, and 6, DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs. All with the offense date of September the 8th, 2022. Pretrial,
Hold on.
okay.
This is 5th arrest. Last arrest was in March out of Miami Beach. It says weapon, firearm, and proper exhibition. That appears to be open. 2019, carrying weapon within the school safety zone. Possession and carrying a weapon without a license. Second and subsequent. That was from Albany State Police Department. He's on probation, possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission out of either Terrell County or Terrell County. So that's all. You got the open case and the probation. And the resident of LaGrange, it says. That's it.
Ma'am,
It's not your time to talk yet, Mr. Tucker, if at all. Listen to your attorney.
Mr. Tucker,
you
please.
got the wrong Tucker on all of that, what he just read. I don't even know. I ain't never even lived in Florida. I don't know what, yeah.
Hey, you got something different?
There were 2 Tuckers today.
There were 2 Tuckers today. That may have been
What are we on?
correct.
Oh, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. That was Deontay Tucker. My bad.
I'm very, very sorry. We'll allow you to say that, Mr. Tucker.
There you go.
Apologize. This is William Tucker.
Oh, I don't have William Tucker's history. So I'll defer to the state.
All right, state, what do you have?
I have a 2011 burglary, which was restricted, 2019 possession of marijuana, which he did diversion, and a 2022 no license. He pled guilty to that July 8th, 2022. And he's on probation for that charge. That's out of Henry County.
All right, now, Ms. Kim.
Oh, okay, so the state is done.
Well, no, I haven't given my bond recommendation.
I'm so sorry, ASG Reed. Forgive me.
No, it's okay.
Now we can go ahead. I'm so used to that being pretrial and then, so we'll
Okay.
we'll blame it on pretrial. Go ahead.
All right. Okay, this incident occurred yesterday. It's in Johns Creek. The officer observed the defendant driving well under the speed limit and failing to maintain lane. The officer initiated a stop, and the defendant told the officer that he was driving on a restricted permit. The officer smelled alcohol and marijuana when he was talking to the defendant. And the defendant told the officer that he had been drinking, and he produced a bottle of tequila. And he said there were 3 small bags of marijuana in the trunk of his car. A field sobriety test was conducted, and it was determined that the defendant was under the influence. Officer read the implied consent card, and the defendant was placed into custody. As it relates to the bond, for count 1, the state's asking for a $2,000 surety bond. For count 2, a $500 surety bond. For count 3, a $1,000 signature bond. For count 4, a $500 surety bond. For count 5, a $500 signature bond. Count 6, $1,000 signature bond. That's a total of $3,000 surety and a $2,500 signature. So that's a $5,500 split bond. We're also asking for no driving and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. William Tucker is 31 years old, Your Honor, and he has been here in Georgia for more than 21 years. And he had actually 3 children, but he lost one recently because his child and his wife actually has a special medical condition called sickle cell anemia blood disorder. So he is a primary care who's taking care of those his family who have those disease. It is genetic. And he has not been able to work for last 1 year officially. However, he does on and off job to do security here and there for different events and buildings. He is married, and we would like to actually ask for signature on bond. And yet, if your honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond, we would like to request for maximum $1,000 of surety bond. So DUI, influence of alcohol, $1,000 surety bond, and everything else, signature on bond, your honor. Thank you.
All right. And Ms. Kim, what did you say as far as employment?
Employment, he has not been able to have a full-time job for 1 year. He works on and off part-time jobs to do security officer. So they don't have a stable income at this point.
All right, I'm going to do the split bond. And I'll try to make this easy a little bit for you, Ms. Bridgewater.
Okay.
I will do the, for the first count, a $2,000 surety bond. For the second count, $500 surety bond. For the third count, a $500 signature bond. For the fourth count, $500 surety bond. For the fifth count, $500 signature bond. And then for the sixth count, $1,000 signature bond. So that looks like for counts 3, 5, and 6, I have signature bonds, and that totals $2,000.
That's correct.
Okay. And then for counts 1, 3, and 4, those are
No, that'd
surety
be
bonds.
1, 2, and 4.
I'm sorry, 1, 2, and 4. Yes.
Uh-huh.
And that will be, what is that, $3,000?
That is correct.
Yes.
So a total of $5,000.
Okay.
Guess I didn't do too bad on my math, maybe.
The SOB, the signature bonds, is it through the jail, Judge?
Yes, signature bonds through the jail.
Thank you.
And then the other conditions are no driving while on bond unless you have a valid license from DDS. It looks like you're on a provisional, so I doubt you can get a valid license at this point until this case is taken care of. So I'm not even going to give you any limited privileges. Just no driving without a valid license. Otherwise, if you need to get somewhere, I guess you will have to do it by Uber or Lyft. Also, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond, unless anything prescribed to you. And I think that is it. Anything else, counsel, that I need to take up?
Nothing further, your honor.
Nothing further from the state.
Okay, that will conclude this case.
Thank you, your honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position 6, Sailor.
This is 22 CR 006066D, Golden Sailor. You're charged with 1 count of driving without a valid license and a 2nd count of brake light turn signal violation, both with the offense date of September the 8th, 2022. Pre-trial?
It's her second arrest. Last was November 2020, misdemeanor obstruction and trespass. She's wanted out of Cobb County for simple assault.
All right,
or simple battery, one of them. That's it.
okay. ASG Duncan.
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor. This incident did occur yesterday in the area of Roosevelt Highway at Hunter Road. In this incident, in this case, there's a $2,000 preset surety bond. That's $1,000 per charge. In this case, the state has a concern that this defendant is a flight risk and may possibly reoffend, given that the defendant is wanted, as pretrial has stated, out of Cobb County. But for this incident in particular, officers were in that area and they initiated a traffic stop on a Nissan Sentra because they observed a brake light not operating on the vehicle. When officers approached the vehicle, the defendant presented them with an ID card and admitted to officers at that time that they did not have a license. There was suspected marijuana in the car. However, the state has decided to dismiss that charge. But in researching the history on this defendant, it indicates that this driver is not licensed at all. Your Honor, given those facts and circumstances, the state is going to be asking for that $2,000 surety bond to be reduced to a $1,000 surety bond. That's $500 per charge with no driving, given the fact that this driver and defendant is not licensed, that there be no further driving violations or violations of Georgia law. Given the facts and circumstances present in this case, we think that the $1,000 surety is more than reasonable. And as pretrial has stated earlier, this defendant is not recommended for pretrial services. So we ask that this surety remain at $1,000 as the state recommends.
All right, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Golden Sailor is 20 years old, and he has been here in Georgia all his life. He was born and raised. He has 2 minor children, Your Honor, 1 and 3 years old, and he has to financially help them. He has not been able to have a job for the last 3 months, and he was going through interviews, and now he is incarcerated. So he has been actively looking for a job, and his highest level of education is 9th grade, Your Honor. Since he has to go and take care of the another warrant at Cobb County, he's not a flight risk. He will be, we can have a bond condition to release him to Cobb County only, and then have a signature on bond to take care of Fulton County issues here. Those are traffic tickets. We would like to request for a signature on bond. Thank you.
All right. And pretrial, you showed that active warrant out of Cobb.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'm going to order the $1,000 signature bond through the jail with the condition, obviously, that the defendant only be released to Cobb County so that he can go and handle the open warrant. So that would be $500 on each for $1,000 signature bond through the jail to be released only to Cobb County. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I think that is it. Anything else? Oh, and I guess no driving.
Unless he gets active license.
Unless she gets a valid, I'm sorry, Mr. Saylor gets a valid driver's license.
Mhm.
Not a permit, but a driver's license.
Got it.
And that should be it. Anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay.
Nothing further.
Position 4, Melvin.
All right, this is 22 CR 0060 72B, Stephanie Melvin. You're charged with 5 counts. 1 count of driving on an expired or no license plate or decal, no insurance. 3rd, driving while license suspended or revoked. 4, giving false information to law enforcement. And 5, driving failure to signal lane change or turn, all with the offense date of September the 8th, 2022. You have anything pre-trial?
8 total between New Jersey, New York, and Georgia.
How many?
8.
8, okay.
She got an FTA warrant out of Dunwoody. Another FTA warrant. Last arrest was in March. DUI, suspended license out of Dunwoody. January 2021, driving without a valid license. DUI. November 2020, driving without a valid license. DUI. August 2020, suspended license, NOLO. 2019 out of New Jersey for simple assault. And she had 1 arrest out of Florida in 2014. Illegal use of credit cards. Lawful possession of 5 or more identification cards. That's it.
All right. ASG Mitchell?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, the defendant was seen driving around with an unreadable paper tag on her vehicle. When officers began following her, she made an abrupt turn without signaling. She was then seen getting out of the car with another male passenger, and they were walking in separate directions. The paper tag came back fraudulent. Officers ran the vehicle VIN number and determined that the car had an expired registration, no insurance, and that the owner, who is the defendant, had a suspended license. When officers caught up with the defendant and asked for her name, she provided a false name of Stephanie Brown. Your Honor, there's a current bond of $3,000 surety. That breakdown is going to be $500 as to count 1, 2, 4, and 5. Count 3 is $1,000. Totaling $3,000. And the state requests that that bond be increased to $5,000 surety. So it'll be $1,000 as to each count, with no driving and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons as the conditions. Your Honor, as heard from pretrial, the defendant has 2 outstanding warrants issued both this year, one in June and the other in July, for FTAs out of Dunwoody and Atlanta. And those are going to be on her DUI cases. The 3 open DUI and driving with suspended license cases. So she's had one every year since 2020, 2021, and now this year. And here we are again. She also pled NOLO to driving with suspended license since 2020. So she is not new to that charge. We do have concerns of her being a flight risk, being that she does have 2 FTAs out of 2 counties on her open cases. So with that being said, we are recommending a $5,000 surety bond. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Honor. Stephanie Melvin is 26 years old. She has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 2 years. She has family here, including her children and an uncle. She is the primary caretaker of her 6-year-old child. She is not receiving any child support. Therefore, she has very limited means to pay much toward bond, Your Honor. Ms. Melvin graduated high school. She also has an associate's degree in medical assisting. She runs a clothing store. She has been in business for about 5 years, Your Honor. She is presumed innocent at this point. These are allegations. And regarding the FTAs, she informed me that regarding the Dunwoody matter, she was actually in the hospital and provided notice to the court. And of course, the FTA in Fulton County, she informs me that she was out of state dealing with a family emergency. I am requesting a bond reduction, Your Honor, as we see she does have holds. She will have to make bond for those matters there. I am asking for a bond reduction to facilitate her release so that she can tend to those matters A signature bond, yes, I'm requesting one. If your honor determines that she is ineligible, then I would ask for a total bond of no more than $1,750. And the breakdown is $250 for driving with an expired license plate, $250 for no insurance, $500 for driving while license suspended or revoked, $250 for giving false information, and $500 for the failure to signal lane change, for a total of $1,750, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to order that we increase the bond to 5,000 surety, which will be $1,000 for each of the charges. I'm going to order no driving unless you have a valid driver's license. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond, unless something is prescribed to you. And I think that's it. Anything else, counsel?
No,
That's
Your Honor,
the
thank you.
defense, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Judge, that was 5,000 good bond, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Position 3, McClure.
All right. This is case number 22 CR 006068H. Tariq McClure Sr., you're charged with 1 count of battery, family violence, 2nd count of cruelty to children, and the 3rd. 6/21/2022 is the offense date. And I believe I saw someone on the Zoom with that same last name. All right, is that the victim in the case?
Yes, Your Honor, that's the wife.
Okay, all right, we will get to you in a second, Ms. McClure, okay? All right, pre-trial,
11 total between Georgia and Michigan. His last arrest was on the 6th of this month, Paulding County. Simple battery, criminal trespass. As far as Michigan, last arrest was 2017, weapons offense. That was a conviction, felony. He had a 2016 assault excluding sexual, home invasion 3rd degree. Home invasion was dismissed. I don't see the disposition for the assault. 2014 weapons, possession by a convicted felon conviction. 2012 assaulting a police officer conviction. That was a felony as well. 2011 home invasion, not prosecuted. Possession of a controlled substance conviction, 2011. These are the Michigan, by the way. Yeah, that's it.
okay? All right, ASG Mickey,
Yes. Your Honor, in this case, the defendant battered his wife, Mrs. Tabby McClure, by grabbing her by her neck and slamming her body against walls inside the residence, causing bruises on her arms. It started when the defendant got upset. According to Ms. McClure, it started when the defendant got upset. He couldn't find his marijuana in their bedroom and he charged at her. This incident occurred in front of Mrs. McClure's 13-year-old daughter, initials SH. The defendant then fled the scene when they called the police. Photos of Mrs. McClure's injuries were captured on the officer's body cam footage, and her statement were as well. Mrs. McClure also stated that she kicked him out of the residence 3 days prior to the incident. Your Honor, the state's bond recommendation is going to be as to count 1, a $4,000 surety bond, count 2, $2,000 surety bond, totaling a $6,000 surety bond, no further contact with Mrs. McClure, a third-party transfer of their child, a stay away from the incident location, 505 Lakeside View, South Fulton, Georgia, a 1-day anger awareness, and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. As Your Honor heard from pretrial, the defendant is a convicted felon. His prior simple battery case was from 3 days ago in Palm County. That is open. The victim in that case was the defendant's cousin. He received a $2,400 surety bond on that case and no further contact as a condition. And the cousin stated that the defendant may have a MH issues after talking to the solicitor in Palm County. In addition to that, most of the defendant's history is that of Michigan, as heard from pretrial, and they are violent convictions that include the possession of a firearm in 2018 and 2014, assaulting of an officer in 2012, and some other felony charges. We also have concerns that the defendant has a lack of community ties here in Georgia, being that he's from Michigan and most of his history is out of Michigan. And in addition to that, we do have serious concerns about witness intimidation. Our victim advocate had an opportunity to speak with Mrs. McClure, and her statements now are quite contradictory to what she stated when this occurred back in June. So we do have concerns there, being that this is a domestic violence case or family violence case. So with that being said, we are recommending the $6,000 surety bond. Thank you.
All right. Ms. Gant, do you want the victim to go first, or would you like to go first?
I will present first, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Tariq McClure is 31 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 2 years. He has been married to his wife, the complaining witness, Mrs. Tavi McClure, for 1 year. They share a 4-month-old child. They also have additional children in the primary marital home, a 13-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 14-year-old, Your Honor. We are opposed to the stay away. I did have the occasion to speak to Ms. McClure. She informs me that she wants to continue having contact with her husband. I am asking for a no violent contact order. A little bit more about Mr. McClure. He completed high school. He is currently employed at Josephine Lounge. He has been in that position for the past month. Your Honor, he strongly denies the allegations. He does not have anyone else to help him with bond besides his wife, Your Honor. He is presumed innocent. These are just allegations. And the fact that Ms. McClure wants what she expressed to me, and of course she will address this court, I do not believe that the state's concerns regarding witness intimidation are founded on any facts, because she is here to testify today that she wants to have contact with her husband. He does have community ties. He's married. His family is here in Georgia. He's been here for a while. We did not hear about any failures to appear. And regarding his history, he is presumed innocent in that open case. This is not the same person. And lastly, Your Honor, the convictions that we heard about are quite remote. So I am asking for a signature bond on Mr. McClure's behalf. And if Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, I would ask for a bond of no more than $1,500. That would be $1,000 for the battery, family violence, and $500 for cruelty to the children. And again, we are opposed to the no contact and stay away orders. Thank you.
All right. Ms. McClure, can you unmute yourself? Thank you. Would you like to address the court today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Raise your right hand. Hold on. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And what would you like to tell me?
We have enrolled in counseling. Like I say, we are newlyweds. We're both from Michigan. I don't have no other family down here besides him and my children. I am returning back to work on maternity leave, so the bond recommendation is a little high for me. I am the only family he does have down here. It was just a misunderstanding. You know, I never seen him act that way before, and I did call the police, and it's something I kind of regret, because now we're here and it's kind of putting us at a standstill. We are facing homelessness, and I really just need his help. Like, there's no witness intimidation. It's just simple sitting down with my husband, talking and putting God first is what is getting us to the next level. So I was just recommending that he can get a signature bond just to help me with my kids, and we can get past this point here.
So are all the children, Mr. McClure's children, or just the 4-month-old?
Just the 4-month-old, and we are in the process of him adopting the other children because their father is no longer in the picture. So.
And do you work, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I think you said you just want to go back from being off on maternity leave.
Yes, ma'am. I'm supposed to go back Monday from being on maternity leave. I don't have any other babysitters or anything like in the household. My mother is here now. She's 70 years old, but she is a dialysis patient. So Mr. McClure kind of helps me with, transporting her back and forth to the Vita dialysis. And I work at Piedmont Henry Hospital.
Okay. Any cross-examination, Ms. Mitchell?
No, Your Honor, not at this time.
Ms. Gant, any cross-examination?
Nothing at this time, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to order a $500 surety bond. I'm sorry, $5,000 surety bond, which will be $4,000 on the battery, family violence, and $1,000 on the cruelty to children. So there'll be a total of $5,000 surety bond. I'm going to order no further contact with Ms. McClure at this point. I know that I see this offense date is June 21st, 2022, but I do have some concerns, and I guess he was not arrested until September the 8th. I'm not for sure exactly why that was.
He was arrested because of the Paulding County case and was sent over.
Okay. But right now I want to just make sure that all is going to go well, and protect the safety of you and the children.
I understand that, Your Honor, but with not to cut you off or anything, I'm sorry, but that's the only help I have. Mr. McClure is my only help. I don't have nobody.
Well,
besides his income and my income, that's how we keep a roof over our head. So with him not being able to be around or helping, I'll be homeless, and I don't have anybody but my mother, and she's 70. I take care of her.
I understand. We've got the Paulding County case. He has some history here. And I'm concerned about the history that I'm hearing out of Michigan. And, it sounds like he doesn't have that many ties or anything to Georgia. I don't know that he will go back to Michigan. This is not a high.
If he go back, Your Honor, if he go back to Michigan, he'll just be another black male shot dead in the streets. That's why we moved here to Georgia, because it's getting real bad in the area we're in. Like, we're in the bad area, and if you don't get out, you will end up being a part of the streets. And our main thing of coming to Georgia was to change our lifestyle and the way we live, and to try to just live off of God's divine order. I mean, everybody's not perfect, and you do have mishaps, and like I say, this is just one of the mishaps. I am not threatened by Mr. McClure. He doesn't threaten me. He's an actual sweetheart. Like, he's a real family man. And so I mean,
and I believe
I apologize for interrupting. Ms. McClure, I just would ask you from the state that you not interrupt Judge Mincy as she is trying to make her ruling. We will be more than to with our office when proceeding included. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Deputy Falk. So let me give my ruling. And what I'm going to do again is to ensure and make sure that you and the children are safe. And I understand about moving and all those things, but again, it's my understanding, and you stated that you called the police, so you obviously had some fear at that point in the situation. And I want to make sure that if you were to reconcile and be in the same household eventually, that you and the children will be safe. And I understand it may be a financial issue at this point, but my concern is the safety issue at this point with his history and the open case. that he has in Paulding. So again, I'm going to order this $5,000 surety bond, $4,000 on the first charge of battery, $1,000 on the cruelty to children. I'm going to order that there be no further contact with you while he's on bond. I'm gonna order a stay away. It's the 505 Lakeside View in South Fulton. That is your address.
Yeah, well, not anymore, Your Honor. I'm actually on my way to a shelter. I haven't lived there in about a week. I don't have a place to go. I don't know why y'all don't understand it. I'm homeless.
All right, and I think Ms. Falk stated that you can talk to the victim witness advocate with the solicitor's office, and they may be able to refer you to some resources that will help you. I'll just go ahead and do a stay away from that address in case you're able to stay, so that if he gets out on bond, that he will not come back to that location. But he has no further contact with you, so he is to not be around you. If there's any visitation allowed with the children or the 4-month-old, that will be conducted through a third-party transfer. Some third party, not yourself, will need to facilitate any transfer or visitation with the children. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond at this time. So that will be the ruling of the court at this time.
And may Your Honor order a one-time law enforcement escort to retrieve his belongings?
Yes, and I'll order a one-time law enforcement escort. And I will say this, Mr. McClure, you're not to go back to that location or to contact Ms. McClure regarding anything at this point or going back to that location. You're to contact law enforcement if you are to get out on bond to go back to retrieve any items. Is that clear? All right, that will be the ruling of the court.
5, Postel.
And Your Honor, when the court's ready, the state's ready to circle back to position 1.
Okay, Deputy, which would you like to do first? You want us to do 5, or can we circle back to 1?
You mean position 2, Ms. Hooten?
Oh, did I say the wrong one?
That was my fault, Your Honor. Yes, position 2, Hooten.
Okay, yeah, position 2.
We can go back to position 2, Ms. Hooten.
Okay, let's do that one first. All right. All right, is it Mr. Hooten?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, what have we found out, or do we have some clarification on, I'm sorry, Ms. Raylethia Hooten?
We do indeed. I forwarded Ms. Gant the 2 police reports detailing both accidents. The other accident, because the court did inquire, involved a young woman and her small child, and that was at the second location, which we had stated. It involved a 2000, well, Miss Hooten's car was the 2009 Altima, and the victim's car was a 2009 Chevrolet Malibu. It stated that Miss Santrivia Calhoun, the Officer Cornelius, witnessed a 2-vehicle accident involving the defendant, Miss Santrivia Calhoun. He went to check on all parties. Miss Calhoun exited the driver door frantically screaming that her child, who was 1 year of age, was bleeding from the head. As they attempted to stop the bleeding, he said he observed the defendant open her driver's side door while putting vehicle 1 in reverse, closed the door, put vehicle 1 in drive, and fled the scene. They then signaled to officers about the accident to follow the vehicle. She began driving recklessly, spinning out of control, and crashed into a tree, at which point she climbed out of the passenger side window and attempted to flee the scene for a second time. So we had the first accident involving the current warrants, the second accident involving Miss Calhoun, and then apparently a third accident where she struck a tree and then tried to run, which is those warrants are what took her to municipal court. So these warrants are new warrants that were taken out subsequently after the officer did a complete investigation.
Okay.
So I will let my ASG take it from here, but I just wanted to let the court know those are all the facts that we have at this point, and I have forwarded the same to Ms. Gant.
Okay, I do appreciate that. Thank you. Ms. Gant, what say you, or what have you discovered?
Well, Your Honor, I have to tell you that I learned about Ms. Falk forwarding those as she stated, so I'm reading through them now. Reading through the warrants, reading through the police incident report that she sent me now.
Mm-hmm.
May we hear position, may we handle position 5?
I thought when we went back to this one, we were ready. The deputy's gonna get me because I'm making her play musical chairs there. So you still have not had a chance to review these warrants?
Well, Your Honor, what I'm saying is that I learned that she sent them to my email as she announced to the court. So I'm
Okay.
trying to listen and haven't had the opportunity to read independently. And I want to just make sure that I have the full story.
Okay, I apologize.
Judge, not a problem. We can go back to position 5.
Okay, all right, we'll go back to 5. And that's your case, Ms. Gant?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
So you're not gonna have time to read if we're doing the case?
Well, if we can take care of this case, it'll take me a moment to, you know, take a look at that information that Ms. Falk forwarded.
Okay. All right, this is position 5. Stanley, is it Postel? 22 CR 006065J. You're charged with 1 count of theft by taking. Offense date is 9/8/2022. Pretrial?
All right, 16 total. Let me know when you heard enough.
Okay.
Last arrest was October 2021. This is all out of Tennessee. Intimidation, vandalism, simple assault. August 2021, simple domestic assault. March 2021, violation of probation. Underlying charges was possession of meth, possession of a handgun while something. February 2021, probation violation, same charges. 2020, possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of meth was dismissed. October 2020, possession of a handgun while under the influence, conviction. 2018, domestic assault, dismissed. FTA conviction 2017. Vandalism 2015, that was a conviction. 2014 FTA, probation violation. And a 2014 domestic assault, that was dismissed. And that's the whole history.
Okay.
And he a resident of Tennessee.
He is a resident of Tennessee.
Chattanooga. Yes.
All right, I have a pretty good picture. Thank you for that. ASG Duncan?
Yes, Your Honor. To clarify something that pretrial stated, in my research, I did find that there was a possession of meth conviction in December of 2020. The other charge associated with that arrest was dismissed. However, for this incident, it did occur yesterday at or near the Georgia Tech campus, specifically near the Perry Matheson bicycle rack, which is near 715 Techwood Drive. In this instance, there were 3 officers patrolling, and they received a radio transmission from the Georgia Tech Police Department about a bait bicycle having a ping. There was an officer, Officer Barney, who was the first on scene and was able to identify the subject on the bait bicycle at that time. The officer detained that subject, and that subject was later identified as the defendant in this case. The Georgia Tech Police Department indicated that they do have a video of the incident and that the surveillance shows the defendant in this case walking up to that bicycle rack and taking that bait bicycle. The state in this, well, there is a $1,000 preset surety in this case. The state is going to be asking that that surety remain as set. In this state, in this case, we do have a concern about the risk of reoffense. I noted in my research that this defendant has received diversion as an alternative dispute resolution and has continued to offend and get convicted for crimes subsequent to receiving diversion. We have concerns about him being a or ties to the community. Most of his history is out of Tennessee, and as preacher has stated, he's a resident of Tennessee. We have concern about this defendant being a flight risk, given that he has an FTA guilty conviction in 2017 out of Tennessee and additional FTA arrests out of Tennessee within the last 8 years. We also have a concern about this defendant's likelihood to respond to legal processes. This defendant was also arrested for contempt of court in 2017, as well as several probation violation arrests in the history, at least 5 counts since 2017. Given those facts and circumstances, we think that the $1,000 surety bond is more than reasonable in this case. We're also going to ask for a stay away. However, we're going to defer to the court for those terms, given the fact that we do not know if the defendant is a student or anything at Georgia Tech. If he has no reason to be there, we would ask that he stay away from there. However, we're also going to ask for no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, and no further violations of Georgia law. Nothing further from the state.
All right. Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Stanley Postel is 29 years old. He relocated here from Tennessee, Your Honor. He does have family here. He also has a sister in Tennessee who, Miss Sierra Postel, she keeps him, he is in contact with his sister in Tennessee so that she can inform him of any correspondence that he receives. So there is a way for Mr. Postel to receive correspondence about about legal process, Your Honor. We are also connecting him with a social worker to remedy some of the challenges that he's facing now, Your Honor, regarding his residency. Mr. Postel completed high school. At this time, he is unemployed. He last worked at Circle K about a month ago. Therefore, he does not have the means to pay anything toward bond, nor does he have any family support to pay bond. Your Honor, this is a non-violent offense. And at this point, these are allegations. The defense has not had the opportunity to view any video. And of course, as Your Honor knows, he is presumed innocent. I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Postel's behalf, but bond in any other instance would be akin to no bond. If Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, then I would ask that the bond remain as set. And we are, at this time, he is not a student at Georgia Tech, but because that campus is vast, I would ask that the stay away be limited to just the incident location, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to order that $1,000 surety bond. I'm going to order a stay away from the Georgia Tech campus area in and around 715 Techwood Drive. And I know that it is a very vast campus. And I guess we need to ask, is Mr. Postel, are you a student at Georgia Tech?
Go ahead, say it again.
No, I was looking at the campus. I wanted.
Oh, okay, that's,
You're
thank
not
you,
a
Mr.
student
Postel.
there. That was my question. So if you're not a student there, and I know she said you were 29 years old, as long as you're not a student there, I'm going to go ahead and say that you should not be in any of the buildings on that campus. And I know that's pretty vast. And I'm not for sure if you live in that area, if you make bond, you just need to stay away from that campus in that area.
Your Honor, for just for clarification, are you sticking with the original order just from the 7715 Techwood? Because he is new to this area and may not quite understand the.
Let me ask a second question then, and this can just be a yes or no. Do you live very close to the campus, Mr. Postel?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay. Since you don't live close to that area, and since you're not a student there, I'm going to broaden it and change my ruling and say that you should not be anywhere near or on that Georgia State campus. And while you're on bond, once you conclude your case and you're not on probation or anything like that, or bond, then maybe you can go back. But let's just do a full stay away from any and all buildings related or regarding Georgia Tech and on their campus. Since it sounds like you don't really have a reason to be there at this point. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I think that will conclude the ruling of the case. If there's anything else council wishes me to take up.
Your Honor, if I may, I certainly respect your rulings. I would just ask that you reconsider and just limit the stay away to 715 to your original ruling, because again, we don't want to put him in a position where he unknowingly violates the stay away. He may elect to apply for employment there at some point or somewhere that's close by, and we just don't want to put him at risk of violating any bond conditions. Now, if he were a resident of Atlanta for a very long time and had more knowledge about it, I believe that would be fair to do.
Well, what I'm concerned about is the allegations that I've heard, and it doesn't sound like he wandered over there, got lost, and decided to go ride somebody else's bike or borrow it or whatever the case may be. So I'm going to stick to, he needs to find out and read. It's pretty well marked where their campus is, and it'll say this is the building of Georgia Tech University. And so I want him to stay away from that area and ask someone and find out, or your office can help him to understand and determine where that campus is and what major streets there are. This will be a good way for him to learn about Atlanta, is to find out through a map or Googling where that campus is. It's a large area, but he said he didn't live in the area and he's not a student there. So while you're on bond, it won't be forever. Do not go near, around, or on any of the buildings on Georgia State's campus. It's a broad stay away, but I think it'll be good for this matter at this point. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while you're on bond.
Thank you for allowing me to be heard, Your Honor.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mhm.
Going back to position 2, Hooten.
And with court's indulgence, Your Honor, I would just ask for a moment to review the information that Deputy Falk sent to me.
Okay. Can we do, or what do we have, position 7?
That appears to be a waiver, yes.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's the waiver, and that's Ms. Kim's case.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you do that one?
Yes, I would like to actually have a breakout room for this.
Okay.
Yes.
But let me give you this history real quick.
Sure.
Second arrest, last arrest was in January, DeKalb County for aggravated battery. That's open.
Okay. All right, this is case number 22 CR 006064G. Is it Kyanza Simon? You're charged at 1 count of simple battery, offense date 9/8/2022. Is it Mr. Jordan?
It's Miss Champion today.
I'm sorry, Miss Champion, can you put us in a breakout? Looks like Deputy Falk, ASG Duncan, PD Kim, and myself, and Ms. Bridgewater, huh?
I'll join you guys.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Judge. I would like to be included as well.
Please don't let me leave out Mr. Walker. Yes, add Mr. Walker.
Courtroom 2.
I got you, Ms. Garrett.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we're back on the record. And I think, Deputy, I believe we're ready to take up unless is Miss Gant back?
No, she's still on the phone.
Okay.
Judge, do you have the bond for position 7?
Yes, just getting ready to say that, 7,500 surety bond. And then MH eval.
Thank you.
Ms. Kim, will you go ahead and prepare that order for me so I have it ready for the judge, please?
I said yes, I'm sorry, it was on mute.
That's okay, I saw you nodding.
Okay, thank you.
Judge, we're ready for position 2, Ms. Hooten.
Okay.
Waiting on me.
Nope.
Oh, how much was that last bond?
7,500. And MH eval.
It's the last case, right?
Yeah. Ms. Gant?
Yes, Your Honor, I have had a moment to get clarification.
Okay. And do you agree with Deputy Falk's explanation or
Based on the information before me, I do, Your Honor. Thank you.
okay. I think Deputy Falk is not there, but in this case, I'm sorry, ASG Mitchell. Okay. All right. So with that in mind, then I can go ahead and set the bonds on those 3 charges, correct?
Well, did we hear? I don't believe that Ms. Mitchell presented, nor did I.
Well, thank you. We'll go backwards a little bit. Well, I guess we got so much into the explanation by Deputy Falk. I thought I had heard pretty much what happened. Ms. Mitchell, if you have some more to add. Looks like-
Yes, Your Honor, just for clarity, I'm just gonna emphasize the facts that relate to this case so we don't get it confused with the other case.
Right. Thank
The defendant, even though this is from the same day, same incident, in this vehicular crash, the defendant ran a red light at the intersection of Hamilton E. Holmes Drive and Donald Lee Howell Parkway and struck Dennis Harris, his vehicle on the roadway. The defendant then failed to stop and continued down Hamilton E. Holmes Drive without stopping. That's when she got into the other vehicular crash. The defendant was driving with a suspended license at the time of the incident. Your Honor, there's a current bond of $5,500 surety on this case. So that'll be for count 1, $500, count 2, $2,500, and count 3, $2,500. And the state's going to request that bond remain the same with no driving and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. As Your Honor has heard the facts from Ms. Falk regarding the accident, this was a three vehicle accident at the fault of the defendant. The defendant, as well, I don't believe we heard from pretrial, but the defendant does have a prior arrest for reckless conduct and driving without a valid license. She also has a conviction, but those are simple battery convictions from 2015, 2 counts of those. So with that being said, based on the nature of these allegations and the injuries that occurred, we are recommending that the bond remain the same. Thank you.
All right. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Raythia Hooton is 29 years old. She has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area her entire life. She has 5 children, Your Honor. She is the primary caretaker of those children, and she is not receiving child support. The ages of the children are 13, 8, 7, 1, and 8-month-old. And also, my client, Ms. Hooton, actually lost a 6-year-old child in 2019. Her daughter drowned, Your Honor. Ms. Hooton completed the 11th grade. She went on to obtain a GED. She is currently employed at Hooton's Transportation. It is a family business. She has been in this position for 1 year, Your Honor. These are allegations. My client is presumed innocent at this point, and as we learned earlier today, she has posted bond for an unrelated, on the same day, but a different accident. I am requesting a signature bond in this case, Your Honor, just because of the fact that she does not have the ability to pay anything toward bond, Your Honor. She doesn't really have anyone to help her. If Your Honor determines that she's ineligible for a signature bond, then I would ask that the bond be reduced to no more than $2,250, and that would be $250 for the failure to obey traffic signs and $1,000 for each additional charge, hit and run and driving while license suspended, for a total of $2,250, Your Honor. And we did not hear a lot in the area of driving offenses, and I believe that the matter for the other accident or hit and run matter is not something that is closed, Your Honor, and she's presumed innocent in that case as well. Thank you, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, sorry to jump in at the very end, but I'm just reviewing the driver's history, and forgive me if ASG Mitchell already mentioned this, but I'm showing 2 FTAs out of 2019 for Fairburn Municipal Court. So I would just ask that the court takes those FTAs into consideration. Thank you.
Right.
And we in our position, Your Honor, is that the FTAs are remote. She does have ties to the community. She's committed to defending against these allegations.
Well, I was just saying that the FTAs were a connection to traffic offenses, so I wouldn't consider that remote, but I digress.
Trial, are you still on?
I am.
No, pre-trial.
Oh,
And I can provide the dates of the FTAs if the court would like.
Right. I'm listening to the state, and I am interested if she has any other driving history, because she's had a big day that day.
She does.
I got the criminal history. I didn't generate the drive.
Right. Okay. Well, how many cycles on the criminal?
7.
7. Okay. Going back to what year? The last 5 years, or you have something older?
All right, hold on.
And I apologize. I know you probably had.
Not overeating. Let's see.
Okay.
I'll give you the whole history. 7 total. Last arrest was the May for the fleeing, suspended, and hit and run. 2020 reckless conduct. 2019 battery, giving false name. Theft by receiving, not prosecuted. From 2018, that was a sale of marijuana, possession of a knife or a firearm with that arrest. 2015 simple battery conviction. A simple assault was amended, so there was another simple battery conviction. And 2011 driving without a valid license.
And Your Honor, if I may, regarding her criminal history, again, that unrelated conviction for battery, which is a non-driving offense, it is remote, and the license charge, of course, 2011, that is remote as well. So we are renewing our request for a signature bond, Your Honor, or any alternative, a bond of no more than $2,250.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and give my ruling. I'm going to keep the bond the same at the 5,500 surety bond. I'm pretty concerned about the allegations. I don't know what else is going on with this defendant for this day or so of the driving violations. I'm going to break that down. Ms. Bridgewater, 500 on charge one, 2,500 on second charge, and 2,500 on the third charge for a total of 5,500. Security bond, no driving. I'm not even gonna say if she gets a license or not. On this one, I'm just gonna say no driving, because depending on what goes on, I don't want her to harm or hurt anyone else in their property. So no driving while on bond, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Your Honor, I would ask that you reconsider the no driving if she has privileges through DDS, because that will severely impact her ability to earn a living. She works for a transportation company. She has 5 children, not receiving any child support. This will essentially make her dependent upon the state for her well-being.
Well, you said that her family owns this transportation business, so I hope she's only answering the phones or doing logistics possibly. Surely she can't be driving. She ought to have some way to get back and forth to work if she's doing that, if she even goes to work or does it from home. But I'm going to stick to that. You need to submit a bond modification order later and can show proof that she has to be driving or needs it. I don't want her on the road right now. You know, at the rate she's going, she's going to end up killing somebody. So I don't want that to happen if she's able to go get a driver's license. I suspect she's not. So I would like to stick to my ruling that she is not allowed to drive while on bond right now, whether she has the license or not. But right now she doesn't. And, you know, 2 or 3 or how many ever accidents in one day, and her driving history is terrible, and then her criminal history is not great either. And I do find that it is relevant to maybe her conduct or whatever else she has going on. She needs to get some help. So we're going to stick to no driving while on bond.
Thank you for allowing me to be heard.
All right, no problem. All right, does that conclude our cases, Ms. Bridgewater?
It does. And if everyone's ready, we can go over the calendar.
All right, you're ready.
Thank you,
Okay,
Judge.
once again,
I'm sorry, Deputy.
No, I'm just saying we're completed here. And of course, you already know position 1 was not on the calendar, or it's not.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
All right,
thank you.
Judge, happy Friday, everybody.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay, once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is going to be September the 22nd. As heard, position number 1 was not on the calendar. Position 2 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $5,500 total good bond. Position 3 is going to the SAP calendar with a $5,000 total good bond. Position 4, SAP calendar with a $5,000 total good bond. Position 5 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. Position 6 is reset further notice with a $1,000 total SOB through the jail. Position 7 is going to the SAP calendar with a $7,500 good bond. Position 8, SAP calendar with a $5,000 good bond. Position 9, SAP calendar with a $5,000 total split bond. And position number 10 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
Question for position 6, what was the?
For position 6, are you needing the breakdown or just what?
I thought
I'm showing it's a $500 SOB through the jail on each charge, making it a total of a $1,000 SOB through the jail.
Okay, that's right. I thought I heard you say Shirley, and I was like, wanted to make sure I was not wrong.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's through the jail, SOB through the jail.
All right.
That's
Okay, are there any others?
Yeah, and I think that's the one, the other condition was with the release to Cobb, right?
Yes.
Yes, and no driving without a valid license.
Gotcha.
Judge, you here tomorrow?
I'm sorry?
You here tomorrow,
Yes, I am.
2:00?
I'm right back. Huh?
2:00.
2:02.
Ms. Kim, have you sent that order yet for the mental health?
Not yet. I was actually about to pull up the form and.
Okay, all right.
Is there a game tomorrow or something?
North Carolina playing
Falcons
at
play
Georgia
Sunday.
State. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you're gonna be on Georgia State's campus tomorrow. Guess we'll let you do that. I always know when pretrial has somewhere to go, you all, because I have
Oh, don't you
I
know?
have to govern myself accordingly, right?
You say you got somewhere to go.
I actually do too, but
Oh.
I'm not going to the same game you're going to.
No, I ain't going to no game. I just want to go home.
Because you know traffic is going to be there as well with Georgia State, or you just want to go home. You know I'm messing with you, right?
I know.
he can take it. Well, everyone have.
Of course he can.
What'd you say, Ms. Bridgewater?
Of course he can.
Right. Well, we'll
Of
see
course.
everyone back in the morning, or whoever's coming back in the morning.
I'll be with you
Are you
guys
coming back in
tomorrow.
the morning? Or tomorrow afternoon? He may
I
already.
would not, Your
Well,
Honor.
until we meet again, everybody be safe and
Right,
stay dry.
until we meet
Okay?
again.
And bye, everybody.
Okay.
Happy
Bye.
weekend.
All right, you too.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.